Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're looking at what seems like a huge contradiction for the Mumbai Indians heading into the IPL 2026 mini auction. See, on one hand, they have almost no money to spend, but on the other, they don't seem worried at all. So what's really going on here? Okay, let's start with the number at the very heart of our story, 2.75 crore rupees. That's it. That is the entire purse Mumbai Indians have to work with to fill 5 empty slots in their roster. And just to put that into perspective for you, that is the least amount of money any team has to spend. Not by a little, but by a lot. While other teams are walking in with war chests of 40 or 50 crore, MI is essentially working with pocket change. So you gotta ask the big question, right? Does this signal some kind of crisis for one of the league's most successful franchises? Or is this scarcity actually a deliberate part of a master plan? Let's break it all down. This brings us to their really unique, almost paradoxical position. Yes, they have the smallest purse, but here's the kicker. MI also has one of the deepest, most stable squads in the entire league, and that's a contradiction they seem totally comfortable with. For a team that's always been built on smart, intelligent architecture rather than just making a splash on auction day, this isn't about some frantic shopping spree. No, this is about making precise, final adjustments to a machine that's already built to win. And the reason their purse is so tiny is actually pretty simple. They've already spent their money where it counts. They've invested heavily, retaining a world-class core of 20 players, which means they've front-loaded all their spending on the talent that truly matters most. And this quote just nails their entire philosophy. The heavy lifting, the big money calls, figuring out the team's identity, that's all done. They're not trying to build a house from scratch. They're just walking in to hang the last few pictures on the wall. I mean, just look at this list. At the heart of it all is this nucleus of elite Indian match winners that, let's be honest, very few teams in the entire world, let alone the IPL, could ever hope to rival. This right here is the engine room of the whole franchise. And then, surrounding that incredible core, you've got this deliberately balanced group of 7 overseas players. They provide all sorts of tactical variety, from Bolt's genius with the new ball to Santner's crafty spin control. Plus, they've brought back key Indian players like Shardul Thakur, guys who know how to perform under pressure. So, with that core completely locked in and secure, the focus shifts to the very few remaining gaps. And it's so important to note that these are gaps in depth, for backup and coverage, not gaps in their frontline, top-tier quality. A really good way to think about it is that the squad is about 85% complete. The foundation's there, the walls are up. Now they just need to finish that last 15% by addressing a few very, very specific areas. And by identifying these 4 specific needs, they can avoid the trap of just looking for good players. They're not shopping, they're hunting. They're hunting for Indian spin depth, a domestic pacer to help out Bumrah, a backup keeper, and one more power hitter. This lets them be surgical, not emotional, at the auction. And here's where it gets really fascinating. MI's entire history, their whole auction philosophy, is perfectly suited for this exact situation. You could almost say they've been preparing for a moment of maximum constraint like this for years. Their approach has never been about emotion or the drama of winning some crazy bidding war. It's always been about discipline, about deep scouting, and about finding incredible value where other teams aren't even looking. You can really see the 2 mindsets at play right here. While a lot of teams are out there chasing big reputations, getting dragged into bidding wars, and trying to make headlines, MI's focus is completely different. They're looking for a specific role fit, and they find it through patience and scouting. The goal always is team cohesion. So their strategy really relies on these proven pillars. They do deep scouting of uncapped domestic talent that they can hopefully get at base price. They value a player's current form in tournaments like the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy way more than a big name from the past, and they're always open to smart, opportunistic moves, like bringing back a former player who fits a new need. So the question is, how does all of this come together into a specific game plan for the auction down in Abu Dhabi? Well, on auction day, don't expect the MI table to be making a lot of noise. They're probably going to be silent for long stretches. But you can't mistake that silence for conservatism. It's institutional confidence. It's the calm that comes from a team that has already done all of its homework. So, no, they won't be hunting for stars. They'll be hunting for these very specific roles. They're looking for players from the domestic leagues who fit these profiles perfectly. but without that inflated price tag that always comes with a big reputation. And that's because their core is already locked in. The ultimate goal here isn't to find another piece of individual brilliance. They've got that in spades. It's about finding the right pieces that create the best team chemistry, the ones that make the whole stronger than the sum of its parts. So in the end, this entire strategy really boils down to one simple thing. Mumbai Indians are not entering this auction to build a squad. They're there to complete one. Sure, it's a small purse, but it's for a puzzle that's already just one piece away from being finished.